I'm going to begin with the pupil and get a dark in so that you can see where we are. And I'm using Caput Mortem Violet. I'm seeing the pupil as a little bit warm, a warmish black. That's just shaped. There's a slight curvature there. First coat just lightly, soft edges, very important with a pupil, is to keep those edges soft at this stage. And then I'm going to use Delft Blue to make a black over the top. Now the horse's eye is basically burnt sienna to a burnt umber. This pupil's a little bit smaller than it should be at the moment, so I'm just going to extend it. Always make them a little bit smaller and then darken that inside area a bit more than the edges, because the edges have to be soft. And using just gently, very lightly, and shaping the pupil, a little bit of this yellow ochre underneath just to brighten up that eye. Give it so nice just underneath the orange. Just going to dab that off, that was slightly heavy. It's better. In there. It's just that edge that's reflecting that lovely golden ground. Now I'm going to use burnt ochre over the top, slightly at this stage. Always the first colours, they're just, if you pop them on lightly, you're feeling your way. See how they're going to work. Okay, now I'm going to get in some shadow colours, some dark. Now I'm going to go finish this pupil a little bit more. Go up here with this burnt umber, just very lightly to the horizon. It gets quite dark in there. Just seeing where I am. Okay, just a little bit lower. You can see that's made of that a nice warmish yellow, and a bit of burnt sienna now, especially on this side. That's a bit darker. And a little bit on this edge. Feeding that in very gently. A little bit darker over here. And with coloured pencil, a lot of it's to do with the pressure, the amount of pressure you pop on. Above the pupil again, just right above it, there's just a tiny lighter bit, and then over with the burnt ochre. That's very light at the moment, but we can come back in and darken it as we progress. Once the other colours just dark areas are in. I'm going to use a cold grey 6, but very lightly. Just block in the moment this shadow area. Again, because this is skin rolling in, this edge has to be very soft. I'm going to go too dark here at the moment. Actually, I don't like that. I'm going to change and go back to, I could put Morton Violet and then go over it with a darker colour. Just make a black out of that. I've got a little, there's always that little lighter bit in there, which, even though it's a close-up portrait, I'm not going to fuss too much with that area. This is that shadow. It's a cast shadow from the structure around the eye. This Kaput Morton Violet's very forgiving in that you can darken it and lighten it, and it's a nice earthy, sort of warm colour for shadows. Keep all these edges very smooth at the moment. This is a cast shadow across here too from this roll. I'm just going to go up there with meet up here. Got his lovely little eyelashes, so I've got to leave space for them. And what's important here is also leaving that white, that glistening, reflected light. And we also got his eyelashes on the end here, so we'll just follow through and mark a little bit where they start up there, just gently. Not all the way because there's a break there. I'm going to use this as well for up here. So this is also like a cast shadow. I'm going to go lightly there because there's a bit of reflected colour, and then go through very softly because this is a fold, so these lines have always got to be very soft. It's important that the folds are worked correctly. I think it drops a bit cooler down this side in case it comes into that grey greyish colour. A bit squiggly there. But that line again's not straight. There's just a bit of a bow to it. There's a bit of a little cast shadow. We can modify that as we go, and then pop in this one as well. Sort of there's a bit of this cast shadow here. So it goes up there. This is just to give us a bit of anatomy base. Curved. Here. I'll just go over that now with the Delft blue and just darken that to get it a little bit blacker. All I did was lay the Delft blue on the darkest areas, so it's basically going to mimic a black. I'll go over it again with the Polychromos violet. I've added in violet, just some lines to indicate where I'm going. And now I'm going to use, I've just put in these shadows as well, just softly. I'm going to use Cold Grey 4 just to lightly come off here and pop in this greyish sort of shadow, just to give it a little bit of, very softly at this stage, tiny bit of a graphite line there. This is an interesting colour, this part. Just comes back into there. I'd even add a tiny bit of this blue, just very lightly. It's a sort of a bluey grey, a little bit of a violet influence too. This is a sort of colour I wouldn't sort out till the end when all the other colours are in. Just put a little bit of the Polychromos violet over it. That's getting a little bit closer. I just modified that shape there as well because it was looking a little bit incorrect. Just do that gently till I get the right shape. Let's put some blue over that as well. I'm just leaving that capped for the white of this eyelid. So again, I might use this grey for now because there's a grey, it's just a little shadow just there. I'll just pop that in. And I think I'm going to switch to warm greys now. So warm grey 4. Just to come across. That meets that dark there. Under that little, now that's quite an interesting little shape there. Of course, if you were, this portrait's up very close, so there's a lot of detail which you normally wouldn't have to put in if your photo is further away. But it's just an interesting eye study. So this is all quite dark in here. Go back over that, get it a little bit darker now, so that we pop this shadow in, cast shadow, see if that works. Soften that edge off a little bit, go back over that blue. I could put modern violet. That just feeds very gently into that shadow. I'm just picking up the cool grey again. I'll just make that a little bit larger, but really just fanning out those edges at the moment because it's very soft. I'll maybe just finish his eye off so that it reads a little bit better. Join that there. So we're going to pop in that little bit of blue sky that we can see, and this is again tonally, this has got to be or look correct so it doesn't look strange. I'm using Cool Grey 2, and then I'm going to put light ultramarine over the top. There's actually quite a lot of detail in his eye there, but we won't. I can see some little clouds in that pupil. And now I'm just going to pop this horizon in very gently again, just a soft line there, run it into that shadow. Just pop, he's got eyelashes coming down over here, so just pop a little bit in there. I'm going to use Cool Grey 1 for those. And then we'll cut back in the eyelashes. And just gently, this has got to be done gently so that we don't get hard lines, and we can darken it up later. Just a suggestion. You can see how that eye's now looking quite yellow. Get this cast shadow in again, just keep working on that. I'm just going to run over it, I think with the burnt sienna, just so that it's looking a little bit more, that yellow is going to show through, but just going to darken it a little bit. It's especially dark there. It's gone a little bit lumpy there. Just going to throw a tiny bit of the blue in there for the moment because it's reflecting a tiny bit blue. Okay. Again, I'm just going to roll just gently there. So soft bit of detail.